Okay. Well, thought we should be live, but it's looking like the screen is blank, so let's try to refresh the page and see. God, the screen doesn't seem to be cooperating. Video is on. I think it's on. Audio. And all right, we are finally live, apparently. Hopefully. Never really know with these things. OBS is very fickle. I've noticed that from streaming last year and into this year. I've noticed that OBS and streaming, it's kind of annoying sometimes. Sometimes it will just cut off and there's no way to know if audio cuts off, or sometimes it'll freeze and there's no way to know if it's freezing unless you like have your stream pulled up on like another monitor and are able to like view it on the side. And what are you doing, Riri? Are you being annoying? But yeah, I thought I would do a little stream today. Woke up, got the day started, made some food. Been very busy, as always. I think people don't fully understand how busy I am as a person. I have a normal job that's part-time. I have my self-employed job, doing freelance artist work. Full-time college, 12 credit hours, 12 or 13? 13. I think it's 13 credit hours this semester. Working out 5 times a day, studying Japanese. That takes at least, at minimum, like an hour. But usually it's like 2, 3, maybe even 4 hours of Japanese study every day, like doing immersion ad study. So yeah, I'm a very, very busy person. And originally I was wanting to do, I've been thinking about this quite a bit recently. It's been on my mind quite a bit. With the One Piece announcement that the anime is getting remade, going to be hopefully a better adaptation of the source material. And it's had me thinking, what are some other anime that I would love to see remade? So that's something that I've been wanting to make a video on, haven't had time. This channel is mostly like for collecting. It's collecting and vlogs and stuff and opinions about things, but with my collecting career kind of winding down, since I might be moving to Japan in 3 to 4 years, roughly, and me possibly downsizing my collection quite a bit. Collecting just really isn't big on my priority list, because if I do move over there and I really like it in Japan and decide to stay over there, I am not bringing my collection over there. Not sure if I'm just going to store it here in the States, at family's house, or what I'm going to do with it eventually. We'll cross that road whenever we get there, but I really don't need to be collecting like 1 or 2 more thousand manga and just tons of anime. But I haven't bought anime in a long time anyway, outside of some Japanese titles, of course. But another thing that got me thinking about, well, it's not just, I've had some thoughts about making like 2 separate videos. It's like anime that I would love to see remade and adapted properly, and manga that do not have anime that I would really love to see animated. Those are 2 videos that I would like to make in the future, and this is going to be just me airing my thoughts about some of the series I'd like to be remade. Obviously there's going to be more, and I might think of some more while I'm here on stream, and there's obviously a lot of them, mostly older titles, because I haven't read a lot of new manga or that don't have anime adaptations or are not getting anime adaptations, because all of the newer manga that I've been reading, like Sakamoto Days, Ayakashi Triangle, The Elusive Samurai, there's some more, and all of those have like anime already out or being made. So most of the titles in Shonen Jump right now, like as far as the fairly popular ones, all of those either have anime or are getting anime, and a lot of them on Jump Plus as well. So Yeah, it seems like more and more anime are being made. But that could just be recency bias because there's a lot of older shonen, like Shonen Jump anime, Shueisha anime that are based off of manga that you really wouldn't have expected to get anime adaptations. The Law of Ueki is one of them. Tuxedo Gen, I don't think that one ever got an anime, but yeah. I guess first I'm going to talk about Thousand Year Blood War opening 3. Visually, really enjoyed the opening. Really looked good. Feel a little sorry for anyone that is like anime only watching this because that opening has quite a few spoilers. There's a lot of stuff in it that if you're a manga reader, like you would pick up on and notice that the opening for opening 3 of Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War, yeah, it spoils quite a bit. There was quite a few scenes in it where it's like you could have done different things outside of like spoiling like matchups and things that happen. So there are some spoilers in the opening. So if you're an anime only viewer, you're possibly getting spoiled on some things. The music, honestly, not the biggest fan. Didn't like the opening that much. But I'm not one of those that absolutely adores every Bleach opening, even from the OG anime. It's like there's openings 1, 2, and 3. All are really good. I'm trying to remember what 4 was. I don't remember 4 or 5 that well. Number 6, Alone's Aqua Times. That one's really good. Like opening 8 is really good. But mostly just 1, 2, and 3 are all really good. It had a really good run of just 1, 2, and 3 all being really good openings. Then after that, it's kind of like hit or miss. There's some that are good, some that aren't so good, but endings too. Bleach has a lot of good endings as well. But as far as this opening, visually looked really good. Really enjoyed it. I like the whole gray tone aesthetic and like their eyes being one of the only things in color throughout the opening. So that was pretty cool. Outside of that, like I said, musically, not really digging the song. It might grow on me more, but it's not one of those where it's like High and Mighty Color Ichimi no Hana Bleach opening 3 from the OG anime. Like first time hearing that opening was like instantly one of my favorites. Of course, like even 2, like 1 and 2, like 2 and 3 Bleach OG openings, really good. Really love both of those. Those was instant. Really love those. Still go back and listen to those. Opening 1, still like quite a bit. It's very different, but still really like it. It's classic. Opening 8, I believe. Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, there's some more throughout it, but openings 2 and 3, those are like the 2 that really come to mind whenever I think of Bleach openings, and like loved it from the first listening whenever it first happened. Really fit the series. All the visuals looked really good. Music went really good. But as far as this opening, I don't think the visuals and the music, it didn't really mesh well with me. But again, I wasn't the biggest fan of the music the song used. Not sure what it is. I have it pulled up. I watched it on, I probably won't be able to read it because it mostly be in kanji, but watched it on Japanese YouTube channel. Maybe it was Sony. I don't know. Whoever has the rights to it is whoever I watched it for, and I just saw it on there. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's all right. Like I said, visually, really enjoyed it. Musically, not so much. I'm excited for this season. Not really sure what to expect because if they keep at the pacing that they've been keeping at, they're going to basically finish the remainder of Thousand Year Blood War. So either they're going to have to add a lot to this season or this core, and they're going to have to add even more to Core 4 because this core, it seems like it's going to go all the way up through Pernetta and all that. So there's not a whole lot of content left to adapt because they did such a poor job with the pacing of the previous cores. That's one of my biggest complaints with the Thousand Year Blood War anime. It cuts out a whole lot of content, adds a little bit. They try to tease us with the Senjumaru Bankai. It's like, no, that really doesn't make up for all the content that you cut out and changed, altered, and the horrible pacing. Thousand Year Blood War. I think we're still in the recency bias era right now where a lot of the people are just thankful that Bleach is back. And it's been like 10 years. We had a 10-year wait from when the OG anime ended to when Thousand Year Blood War started. It was like 10 years. So that's a long time to wait. It's like crazy how long it took, but I still think we're in the recency bias where a lot of people are just thankful that we have a new anime and they're just accepting it for what it is. Whereas like 5 years from now or whenever the Thousand Year Blood War ends with like core 4, I believe it's only going to be 4 cores, and then we might get adaptation of the novels Can't Feel Your Own World. But it seems like some of the things that they're doing in the Thousand Year Blood War anime, it might actually make Can't Feel Your Own World non-canon, which I'm not a huge fan of because those novels are pretty good, and I would love to see like those adapted into either like a trilogy of movies, which that's still a lot of content, but or maybe like a 24, like 2 cores. You could possibly get it all crunched down into that. It'd be really tough to crunch it down into that, but it would be possible. But yeah, I believe we're in a recency bias where we're just thankful that Bleach is back. We're enjoying it. Because every person I talked to that was a Bleach fan from back in the day, every person that I know like in real life that is like an anime fan that was Bleach fans from the early 2000s to now, like going on 20 years of being a Bleach fan. A lot of us are just like, yeah, we're kind of let down with the Bleach anime, and I think a lot of people are just thankful that it's back, and just they're blinded by just having something new of Bleach and just thankful that it's back. Whereas like 5 years from now, we're probably going to look back and be like, yeah, the Thousand Year Blood War anime, it was thankful it was back at the time, but it really wasn't a very good adaptation. So yeah, that's kind of sad because they've rushed through so much in those first 2 cores, so much. Some of those fights should have been like 2 or 3 episodes at least. Well, not at least, but it should have been 2 or 3 episodes. Like, there's no reason like Rukia versus Asnod was 1 episode, and especially Kenpachi versus Grammy. Like, all of that, it was like 11 chapters down into just 1 episode. They cut out quite a bit to get it down that far, but it was just so fast paced. It definitely felt like it was made for the TikTok generation, the people that are addicted to TikTok and have super low attention spans and just need flash after flash after flash. So yeah, but outside of those, again, it's just super fast paced. It has a very bad pacing issue, in my opinion, especially whenever you watch a series like we have anime now like Frieren, that just proves that slow anime is still in demand. People still want it, people still watch it, people still love it, people still enjoy it. The original Spice and Wolf, haven't seen the new Spice and Wolf, but hopefully it's still like the new Spice and Wolf is slow. But series like that, the old Spice and Wolf and Frieren, like older anime, slower pacing, like you can get away with it. Everything doesn't need to be at breakneck speed. And I get it, it's a war arc, but still, you gotta have time for the scenes to set in, let the viewer soak it in. It doesn't feel like there's any stakes because it's just one thing after another. Nothing has really any impact. I remember reading it weekly back when Thousand Year Blood War was coming out, and a lot of those scenes hit a lot harder in the manga because you had a full week between chapters for it to just soak in and you to dwell on it. Whereas now it's like they're fitting 5 to 11 chapters per episode, which is crazy. It should only be like maybe 3 or 4 chapters per episode. Some of them you could even get away with like adding some more filler, especially now that we're getting towards the end of the source material. They're definitely going to have to add a lot of content because if they were to keep at the pace that they had been going without adding a lot of new content, Thousand Year Blood War would end in Core 3. It would basically end in Core 3 with the pace that they was going. So yeah, that was, I guess that's enough talking about Bleach for now, though we're gonna get back to that a little bit. Let's talk about some anime that I would love to see remade. One of the first ones that comes to mind for me is Rosario Vampire, Rosario plus Vampire, Rosa Vamp. Very, very bad adaptation. because they butchered like the number one arc in the series, which is like Volume 5, Mizore. They butchered her arc, so I would love to see this remade, but it would be a short series, so it's not the biggest deal, and it's never going to happen. They're never going to remake this. Like, Rosa Vamp, even at its peak, was not a very popular series on the scan sites, like manga-wise, and the anime wasn't too popular either. And just go online and try to look up like fan art of it, and there's not a lot out there. But one of the things that got me on the topic of thinking about anime that I would love to see remade, other than the fact that One Piece is getting remade, because that's been announced for a while now, the one that really stuck in my mind that made me realize I really want to see this one like remade properly and adapted fully, properly, good adaptation and good pacing, is Yu-Gi-Oh! All the way from 1 through Duelist through Millennium World. I would love to see, well, Millennium World's over there. I didn't grab it off because that's one of the only seasons that is fairly adapted decently compared to the manga. But that's a series, like, I've been watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Like in Japanese, no subtitles, and really enjoying it. But it's still like I've been watching tons of, for like months now. Like, I've been watching Forbidden Memories videos on YouTube for Yu-Gi-Oh! I've been in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Binge lately, for a while now, since probably last year, just watching tons of various Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos about the card game, scandals in the card game, about the manga, about the anime, the adaptation, the video game. Just really been in a nostalgic Yu-Gi-Oh! Mood. And it's like, yeah, the anime adaptation of the manga is like really, really, really bad. Even though super nostalgic for it, would love to see it a lot. Would love to see it get remade, like all 38 volumes of the manga, which is like the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Then you have Duelist, Millennium World. I'd even throw like Yu-Gi-Oh! R into it as well. You could slot those between it somehow, adapt that as well. Why not? I would love to see Yu-Gi-Oh! Get a proper adaptation, because unless you've read the manga, you don't realize how different that anime is, excluding the filler. There is tons of filler. There's so much filler in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. It is packed full of filler. It's like filler within filler. It has a lot of filler. But excluding all that, just the adaptation of the source material, it is so vastly different compared to the manga. The manga is a lot more dark, and not even just season 1 or season 0, as we call it online, because we never got it in the States. Season 0, everyone knows that one's dark. But even like Duelist and Millennium World, those are a lot more dark. Like Pegasus dies in the manga, whereas in the anime he's still alive and still going on, which that would honestly be one of the changes I would honestly kind of be okay with. Like, Pegasus, amazing character, amazing villain, top shonen villain of all time. He's definitely up there. It's tough because there's like 3 main villains, well, 4 if you count Seto, but he becomes like Vegeta basically. But as far as like a main top villain that was bad, I don't know, I guess you would throw Seto in with that as well, because all of them aren't really bad, except for Bakura, Oyami Bakura. Anyway, yeah, I would love to see Yu-Gi-Oh! Just get remade, completely changed. I was gonna show this because a lot of people don't know this, but let's see here. Because whenever Pegasus takes Yugi's grandfather and like seals him away, in the anime he just disappears. He's sealed away in the card, taken through the TV. Whereas in the manga, he's still able to talk to his grandpa. He's just stuck on like this small camcorder that Yugi just carries around with him all throughout Duelist. So that's one of the major changes, but there is a lot of changes. Definitely a lot of changes. I don't know if I would want it to be a completely one-to-one adaptation, thinking about it, because a lot of the times, one of the things that I definitely appreciate about the anime is like they have the huge stadiums where they play at one end and the other, which doesn't work so much with some of the scenes, because some of the scenes in the manga don't really work too well with like a big stadium like setting like that with a big field. But I would like to see them keep that big field. Whereas in the manga, it's like they're still sitting at tables and like these cubes, and they still have like the terrain advantages and stuff. But honestly, yeah, I'd still like to see him keep the stadium. But I would love to see Yu-Gi-Oh! I've just been a huge Yu-Gi-Oh! Binge. Would love to see Yu-Gi-Oh! Just remade from the beginning, like season 0, which we never got here. Just full adaptation, completely made. Another thing that's made me want to see things, I guess, not only remade, but have proper translations in English, and that's going to be your series like Naruto. Naruto is a series that anime, not the best adaptation, honestly. They changed quite a bit, especially like early on. Like episode 1 is very different from how the things happen in the manga. The manga is very different. But one of the things that I never really realized until I've started consuming content in Japanese is just how different not only the dub of the anime is, but the subtitles as well as the English manga and how censored those are compared to the Japanese counterparts. Not visually, they don't go in and, well, some of the older manga they do, but not in Naruto. They don't go in and add like censor bars over stuff like they have some of the older manga over here in America. But the dialogue is very different. Like if you read Naruto in Japanese, you're going to be like, wow, this is, there's a lot of instances where it's a lot more crude, vulgar. It's not as kid-friendly. They definitely toned it down, tried to make it more child-friendly here. They removed a lot of content, removed a lot of the references in the localization process, and that's something that I really don't like. And it just goes to show that bad localizations, that's not a current thing. Like, it's not just only a current thing. Like, sure, it's happening now. It might be worse now than what it was back then, honestly, but bad localizations has existed ever since manga and anime has been brought over here. And them changing things, making bad localizations and bad translations, them censoring things. And Naruto was definitely one of those that I've realized through reading it in Japanese and learning about it and watching it. It's like, I didn't realize how different it was. Like, it's almost a different series at points. And it's crazy. But Naruto is definitely one of those that is, I love to see it get remade. Not sure if it's ever going to happen. Like, Naruto is still fairly popular, but they still can't even get those, like, 5 eps. Wasn't it going to be, like, 5 ep recap or something that Studio Pierrot announced a while ago and they still haven't done? But yeah, I would love to see Naruto remade from the beginning, remove all the filler, give us a true adaptation whenever you bring it over here to the West. That way people can actually get the real story and how things actually are. Don't censor the stuff. Don't do horrible localizations, which they just can't help themselves. They're already doing that with like the Dragon Quest remake, forcing Japan to censor it and stuff. And yeah, it's getting bad. It's getting bad. But yeah, another thing that I would love to see remade, I know this one's never going to happen. I don't even know if they would make this one today, and that's going to be TYBW. We'd love to see a true adaptation of it because the manga is a little different, and they cut quite a bit out. I'd love to see like a full adaptation of all 18 volumes, just everything adapted. But again, with the current climate of the anime industry and how censor happy everything is, and yeah, I don't know if TYBW could get made today, honestly. We was at a lucky time. We was at a time when fan service was still allowed in the earlier 2000s, so I'm not sure if that would be able to happen today, unfortunately. So Ayakashi Triangle got made, but man, the censored version was basically unwatchable, and I need to go back and try to rewatch it like uncensored and see if it's as good. But yeah, TYBW, that level of animation, that level of fan service, we don't see that today. We don't see that today at all. They actively remove fan service and nude scenes in anime now because Strange disappearances that would have had some nude scenes because she's actually nude in the manga, as well as Megami no Cafe Terrace, the goddesses of Terrace Cafe, I think is the English title, or the cafe and its goddesses or something. I don't know the English title. I only know the manga in Japanese. But it's Megami no Cafe Terrace. That one actually has nude scenes, more fan service, and they cut all that in the anime version, which I still really like the anime version. I still really like the story. The story's like really good. It's a callback to like older like rom-coms, and I really like that. So while I would love a true adaptation with all the fan service, it's like I still enjoy the anime, which, yeah, you can still enjoy like the Naruto anime. Like I still like to go back and rewatch the Naruto anime, and the older dub is actually pretty decent, but it's like you don't realize how different things are until you actually consume the content in Japanese. It's crazy. But the last thing I want to talk about as far as like adaptations, there are more, but this stream would go on forever, and I'm basically procrastinating by doing this stream, procrastinating against doing everything I need to be doing today. The last thing I would love to see remade from the beginning, true adaptation, all the scenes, Bleach. Yes, I am a long-time Bleach fan. Always. It's the series that really got me into anime back 2006, 2007. And I still love it today, even with all its flaws. Even with how much of a letdown, honestly, the Thousand Year Blood War adaptation has been, and even with the Thousand Year Blood War anime being, honestly, a pretty big letdown. But I would love to see Bleach remade from the beginning, remove the filler, remove the bound arc, even though, honestly, a lot of the filler, like, arcs in Bleach are not that bad, honestly, in my opinion. The bound arc is definitely the worst, but even then it's not like the worst filler in all of shonen history. Like there is some filler in One Piece and Naruto that are way worse than the bound arc. But outside of the bound arc, the other filler arcs, the Fake Captain arc, the Nozomi arc, Zanbakuto Rebellion, like all of those I like quite a bit. Of course, there's still filler, but it's still enjoyable filler for the most part. But imagine Bleach remade with all of the things, because like Grand Fisher, he shows the Iran cars, like whenever Ichigo fights Grand Fisher in the manga, it shows Grand Fisher get his like mask ripped off and shows him becoming a Iran car, and it introduces all that like way before it gets introduced later in the anime. So we're introduced to the fact that hollows can remove their mask and become stronger. That's something that happens like really early on in Bleach that doesn't get shown again until much later. Jidambo, like the guard of the east entrance, I think. Well, in the manga, you get to see all of them because he actually fights like the other three entrants, because the other three guardians of the entrance, like they're on Aizen's side and they help Aizen after he gets the Rogoku? It's been a long time. From Rukia. After he gets that from Rukia, Hogyoku. After he gets the Hogyoku from Rukia. It's like he's trying to make his escape and stuff. And those three guys, like the other three guards, like they show up in the manga and Jidambo fights them and stuff. And that's just early stuff that are like is like changed. Like there's quite a bit more throughout the series. There's a lot more to the story that we don't get shown in the anime, and the first episode of the anime is like really different from the manga, like very different. Using Kyrene or swap places. Kisuke Urahara shows up in chapter 1 in the manga and doesn't show up in the anime. Yeah, there's quite a few changes in the Bleach anime from the Bleach manga, and I would love to see Bleach get a true adaptation, especially like keep up the gore, keep all the gore, don't censor the gore, because Bleach is a very gory manga. The scenes that come to mind is like Chad whenever he gets his arm completely destroyed by Yami, or Hime getting battered by Yami, Uryu loses his arm against Ukuiora. Yeah, there's quite a few scenes where they definitely dial back the the gore and the grotesqueness of it. So it would be cool to see that get a fully uncensored version of the Bleach anime with all of the content from the manga. And eventually, maybe like 10 years from now, we'll get Thousand Year Blood War remade again in another anime form and actually have it be a properly paced adaptation that includes all the content that they've been cutting out. But that's probably never going to happen, unfortunately. But anyway, I think I'm going to end the stream here. I only wanted to go for about 30 minutes and need to eat a bit more and put this stuff away. And I need to get to studying for the day. I got to do an exam for college today. I'll try to get some work done and then prepare for work over the weekend. So I will see you guys later.